All right, let's go out west. Let's talk a little LA football. What do we got?
3rd and 13. Shot taken towards the end zone. Diving grab. Touchdown, Mario Williams. Second of the day for Super Mario.
USC. Let's start with USC. They get another win. And speaking of those rankings, right, the AP poll, let me tell you why I get upset when Texas is just 22nd. And I think that they should be higher. Well, it's because the AP poll matters. And in a sport that is still subjective to some degree, and perception rules the day in a large degree of what we do and how we crown a champion, it matters where teams are ranked. And I think that USC is a great example of that because they faced a team this Saturday at home that was not ranked by one spot. Washington State was ranked just behind LSU. LSU gets the nod, even though they had lost to Florida State, and Florida State was right in that mix, right around there at 26, 27, 25. LSU gets the benefit of the doubt. Okay, that's fine. Joel, it doesn't matter. Joel, it doesn't matter. Well, really? Really? Because then when Tennessee rolls in there and plays outstanding, by the way, Hendon Hooker, I see you. More on that Wednesday. Tennessee beats LSU. Everyone's like, bah! Ranked win on the road. That's incredible. They should move up. They've got to move up. And so they leapfrog USC, who beat Washington State, who was just behind LSU. So does it matter? I would argue it does. And now Tennessee is one spot higher when they play Alabama. And Alabama, win, lose, or draw, is going to get the benefit of Tennessee being one spot higher. So it all makes sense, and it's all cohesive. It's sort of like dominoes, And so you tip over one domino, and there's going to be a repercussion later. So USC is going to fall in the poll, even though they won against Washington State. And this USC team is really good. And I think people are failing to realize that they have managed their weakness maybe better than anybody in college football. I think we all understood coming into this season that, okay, the transfer, Caleb Williams, Jordan Addison, Travis Dye, by the way, Dye has been fantastic. And Lincoln Riley, they will make the offense good right away. We understood that. And I think that if you pay attention to college football at all, you kind of understood that was going to take place. What we didn't know was how good was the defense going to be? Were they going to be good enough? Could they be good enough to win the Pac-12? Could they be good enough to create a playoff run? Maybe. Well, I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Alex Grinch, we'll see what he does. Well, would it shock you to know that USC's got the number one scoring defense in the Pac-12 right now? So, hey, they're doing it. They're playing around their weakness. And I would argue that they do a better job of anybody of not just playing around it, but actually hiding it. USC hides their weakness better than anybody in the country. And their weakness to me is very clear. It's very clear. And every time I watch them, I can see it plain as day. But the style of game that they play, the offense that they run, the coach that they have, completely takes that away as a weakness. They mask it. What is that weakness, Joel? It's the run defense. If you watch USC for any amount of time, you know that their biggest weakness is the run defense. If you can line up, get big, and actually run the football right at them, they're going to struggle a little bit. They're 105th in the country right now in terms of yards per rush defense. 4.5, over 4.5. It's almost 4.6, actually. 105th in the country. Why doesn't that hurt them? Because isn't running the football a big deal? Yeah, it is. It absolutely is a big deal. But the style of football that they play masks that inefficiency. How? They always play with the lead. That offense and their high-powered nature, Caleb Williams, Jordan Addison, Dye, Lincoln Riley, how he calls plays, the defense can sit there and they can be aggressive because they know that the offense is likely going to get them a lead. And they have. And in the one game that they struggled, what did they not have? A lead. That's the one game that you can sit there and you can say, man, they were in trouble against Oregon State because they didn't have a lead. If they don't have a lead, they will be in trouble again. Because the problem is their rush defense is going to be exploited at some point. And once that happens, someone's just going to be able to shove their offense on to their own sideline and say, you stay over there while we hold the ball for 37 minutes. It's going to happen at some point. That's why I'm a little fearful for them in terms of winning the Pac-12, because there are teams that can do that. The reason that they have been able to have the number one scoring defense in the Pac-12, though, is because once they get that lead, once they play from in front, what the defense can do is that the defense can play to their strengths. That's why they are the nation's leader in interceptions and sacks. So once they get the lead and they make you one-dimensional, they can really get after it, and they become a really good team and very difficult to beat. But the key is you got to get out on them early, and then you got to just take them into deep water. Take them into deep water and get them uncomfortable by just running the football at them, staying on the field with your offense. When that happens, USC will be in trouble. They have to play with the lead or else they will lose. And there are a couple opponents down the stretch that can do that. One of them is this week in the Utah Utes. I know Utah has lost twice, and now people might be overlooking this game, but it's the style of game in which it's going to be very difficult for USC because USC needs to jump out quickly, get clean air, as they say in NASCAR, and play from the front. That's what makes their defense decent and have the ability to keep you off the scoreboard. They've got to get picks. They've got to get sacks. The other team that can do that, by the way, UCLA. And so we move right across town as we're talking about LA college football. And how about UCLA? That was a tremendous victory over Utah. And it proved a lot of things to me, by the way. Very quietly, nobody is looking at UCLA nationally. Nobody. And yet, here they are, and they are tough as nails. And this is a team you want to, if you were to say, like, what team in the Pac-12 can actually drag USC into deep water? UCLA. UCLA, and no one thinks that because maybe it's like the powder blues, maybe it's the color of their jerseys, maybe it's the fact that Chip Kelly is their head coach and you don't associate him with like toughness and line of scrimmage, but that is a really complete team. UCLA is really physical. They're complete across their entire team. They can run it, they can throw it. They're playing pretty damn good defense right now, and I wouldn't want to play them. I think Dorian Thompson-Robinson, DTR, I think he's playing the best football in the conference. Now, everyone might be like, oh, Caleb Williams. Yeah, Caleb Williams is playing really great. This is not a knock. This is just a tip of the cap to the fact that DTR is playing outstanding football. And he's got a lot of experience in that system. He's got a running back in the backfield with him in Zach Charbonnet that make them very tough. He's a physical runner. He can get tough yardage. They've got a really good wide receiver in Jake Bobo and a defense, by the way, that's sitting there. They're number 2 in the Pac-12 in rush defense. They're number 2 in total defense. Quietly, they've built this team into a really physical, line of scrimmage oriented team that can sit there and win. So if you're looking at a team that can take USC and drag them into deep water, look no further than the team, 15 miles from them. UCLA is a team that could absolutely win the Pac-12. If DTR continues to play this efficient and this well, then that's a team that could win the Pac-12 and may make a push to the playoff. They may. And the reason is that they don't have a glaring weakness. USC has to play a certain way and avoid a very certain weakness in order to win. UCLA doesn't have to avoid that. So UCLA, that's a team that I'm looking at that could absolutely be your Pac-12 champ. That's not as easy of a schedule as what USC is going to face, but I can't wait to see how they progress through the year and how they progress as an offense and a defense in combination, because as a complete team, they certainly are one of those teams that I think are scary in the Pac-12 conference.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoy that clip, make sure you click subscribe somewhere down here. From game highlights to exclusive interviews and rankings, we've got everything you need as a college football fan right here, College Football on Fox.